What is up, everybody? This is Lyle, No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. I am coming at you from the Come and Go, Tipton, Iowa, I-80 exit 267, about 20 miles west of Iowa 80 truck stop. So I decided to thug it out this morning, try to see if I could get out to my 01. Now, partially was, I am all about them little off-brand truck stops and things like that. And that's kind of where I stopped last night. And I think due to the weather, they weren't opening up this morning. And I was getting a little backed up. I felt like I was riding a turtle bareback. So I was at least going to have to go somewhere and drop that load before I pick up my load. So decided to test the waters, looked at the all the websites and everything that I had to look at it, and looked like the roads were going to be pretty good up until I get right about where I am now, and that is exactly true. But what I wanted to talk about is a question that was asked of me this morning by not my fleet manager, but just a regular fleet manager. We'll get to that in a second, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about a question that happened to me, or that somebody asked me last night. They said they're going to be in below zero weather. Should they idle their truck, or is the APU fine, and things like that. A lot of that's going to depend on your APU. Now, I generally will let my APU run, but I'll set my alarm like every 3.5 hours and let the truck idle a little bit. And when I let it idle, I'll, and I'm just saying this for new people. So, if you hit the on button on your cruise control and then hit the set button up, it'll adjust your idle. You don't want it really idling at that low idle. So I'll pump that up to about 1,000, something like that. Then I might go to sleep, let that run or lay down. Might let that run about another 30-45 minutes until it gets to like 130-degree temperature on my dash, and then go back to the APU. I'm not saying that's the right way. I'm just saying that's what I'm doing right now. And since I was running my truck a bit more than usual this morning, I wasn't able to add any coolant to my truck, and it's right there on the line. So I'm not running my truck right now. I'm trying to let the engine cool down so I can go ahead and add that coolant later. So let's get to the question that was asked to me. Now, before I get into this, I am in no way saying that I felt pressured or anything like that. As a matter of fact, I've dealt with this fleet manager 2 times when I wasn't able to make an appointment. For those of you guys who were rocking with me last year, know that I was in Minnesota and ended up having to shut down. Almost jackknifed my truck on 35 going 18 miles an hour, and I was trying to pick up a load in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, whichever Sioux is in South Dakota, Sioux City, I don't know. Anyway, this fleet manager actually thanked me for shutting down last year. So I don't in any way think that this question was any pressure, but it does highlight what I just mentioned the other day. So I'm up this morning looking at all the websites, and there is an excellent Facebook page. It's called, man, I need to talk about this in a different video because I forget the name of it. But it seems like this lady that runs this web page or this Facebook page, all she does is update shit, chain laws, everything. It's like almost 24/7 you have information. So I'm going to probably just do a video on that, but it is probably better than any of the apps or anything like that. So I'm on there looking at that. I'm looking at Iowa 511. I'm looking at Trucker Path. I'm looking at Truck Weather, Road, whatever, all these apps. And it's kind of telling me the same thing. I should be good until I get just a little bit past I-80. I need to get to 380, which presents even another bunch of challenges, because that's like Bridge City over there, if I remember correctly. But man, I haven't even got to the question. I'll get to the question in a second. The reason I did shut down, because I was going to maybe go a little bit further, was they had this big old chunky ice, and it might be like 3 truck lengths long every now and then. And it's fine if there's no truck to you or a car or whatever to your left, then you can just move into the opposite lane, miss the ice. But if there's somebody next to you and you hit that long stretch of ice, it could be a wrap. And I heard it's about to be worse coming up. So anyway, enough of that. So the question was asked of me is, good morning, sir, or whatever it was. How are road conditions? Now listen, all I have is the information that I have, right? It's really not that accurate. I think the closest to accuracy that I have is that Facebook page, because a lot of times there's people that'll post, you know, where they've gone through, things like that. But I'm 3/4 of a mile away from the highway. All I could see is trucks going by. I don't know if they're loaded, unloaded, anything like that. You have all the information. The fleet managers have all the information. So my question should have been, I don't know. You tell me how the road conditions are, because you got all the information. You got, I mean, I think he's covering his fleet and 2 other fleets. So you got 3 fleets worth of data on trucks in different areas, where I'm sure that they could look and say, okay, here's the average speeds of the trucks that are in this area. Maybe if you want to dig deeper, you know, these are empty, these are full, to give me an idea of what the real time road conditions are. And that was one thing I brought up in my last meeting. I think that would be some valuable information if that was able to be added to the app. You know, you don't necessarily need to break it down to every single truck on the road, but there should be a way you should be able to open up an app, go to a different state, click on a highway and a section of highway on our app, and see what the average speed is for trucks. So that's just wasted information that's not getting disseminated right there. Maybe I'm dumb, I don't know. So anyway, it was, you know, I mean, I stayed pretty warm last night, but I'm gonna tell you what, I felt sorry for 2 people last night at this little travel plaza. One guy, and I always say, don't ever make a hard right turn in a truck, because it stretches your airlines all the way across. He had a reefer too, all the way across the reefer. He did that and tore his airline, and he did that like right in front of the fuel islands, which nobody was really getting fuel there all night anyway, but he was trying to circle around the fuel island, snapped his airline, and then now boom, he's stuck right there. I think he tried to run inside and get some airlines and do it, but you ain't putting on no airlines at no minus 12 degrees. And then the next person, I don't know if he didn't have anti-gel or what, but he was actually idling and his truck gelled up. So I don't know how cold he was or what the situation was. I don't know if that 911 he went in there bought worked or not. Oh shit, there was 3 people that had worse nights. The truck next to me, and I sort of got, because I kept telling you I get up every few hours to start my truck and everything. That person all night long was getting up and having to push down the accelerator. I don't know why, if the idle thing just didn't, you know, mine will shut off. This truck will shut off at 30. One of my other trucks will shut off at 40. But certainly not if I'm below 0. I got to get up and keep tapping the accelerator or pushing the brake. He was doing that every 5 minutes all night long. That had to be miserable. So I know 3 people had a worse night than me. And then this morning, graveyard on I-74 and I-80, trucks all over the place, cars all over the place. One guy, he was asking to get killed. He's on the side of the highway right by an ice patch, which is probably the ice patch that he hit. And he's trying to dig out his car, but his primarily trucks are coming around that corner, especially empty trucks. They could lose traction there and just go right into him. So hopefully he made it out of that. But I don't know. I would ask the driver advisory board that, but when I asked the question about the magnetic things under the yard dog trucks or whatever, they said there's no reason for that since none of it's metal. But then they did say that they'll possibly look into getting street sweepers or something like that, because when they said it's not a problem, I got a $1,000 bill that says it is a problem, and it was metal. So anyway, I'm not going to bring that to them. That would be more of an IT question to see if it's even possible. I know it's possible, but why they don't roll that out, I don't know. So anyway, maybe they don't think it's that big of that big of a deal or a good idea, or maybe they haven't thought about it. Don't know. So I'm at this Come and Go. I've been here a couple times. I've actually ate my first truck stop sushi at this Come and Go before I had it at another truck stop. But this was the first place I got it. Pretty good stuff. And I'm up here with 3 Prime drivers right now, which is odd, because when I'm at some of these smaller, even, Come and Go, some of the bigger ones, you might see them, but rarely see Prime drivers at these little off-brand places. They love them a Loves. I don't know if it's the greeting or what that gets them. Welcome to Loves. But there's 3 of us up here, which makes up about 40% of the trucks. Maybe 35. Haven't counted it out to do the math, but that's about it. Just wanted to come on here. A little bored. I'm going to come out here and add this coolant. And I've watched as many videos. Listen, if you got a trucking YouTube channel, I've probably watched your video, or at least let it play while I was, kind of drifting in and out of sleep. And I am fucking bored right now. So anyway, stay safe out there. I appreciate you stopping by No Hippie Trucking and Transportation as always. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out.